Hey, this is Sam Black with my first match with this Dragons of Tarkir sealed daily. I won the die roll and I get to choose whether I'm going to go first or second, and I think it's actually a pretty interesting choice with this deck. In general, I like to go first in this sealed format, I think. But this is a controlling deck where card advantage is likely to be important, and I think drawing is reasonable, but I'm worried about the fact that I have no answers to flyers, and I think that if my opponent is playing an aggressive deck, it could be pretty bad for me to be on the draw. So I'm gonna choose play the first game, but likely choose draw after I've seen my opponent's deck. I'm gonna have to mulligan this hand, and I have to keep this hand. I shouldn't say I have to, I can do whatever I want, but I think it's correct to keep this. I have all my colors, I have a powerful card, and going to 5 is horrible. We're really looking to draw a spell that I can cast this turn, or just a spell. I have mixed feelings about my opponent playing Echoes of the Country. I like that it's not killing me, but I don't like that it could potentially be difficult to beat in the late game, and I'm not ending the game quickly. I do like my opponent only having one color and no creatures. I'm just going to lead with Sabertooth here. I don't see how I can get punished for it, really. And I don't want this game to go forever because of Echoes. That was great. Drawing a 2-drop means that I can run my Sabertooth straight into Sandblast. So obviously I played the Beastbreaker so that I would have mana up to activate the Sabertooth so that it can't get killed. If I had played the Tomb Shell, I wouldn't have had enough mana. Also, this is just more power. My opponent is very unlucky. Enduring Victory is also a thing here, but again, it doesn't matter because of the Sabertooth. Alright, well, I learned very little about my opponent's deck. I do have a Naturalize that I could board in, now that I know that my opponent has Echoes of the Country, and my opponent is white, so might have pacifism. I don't think that's sufficient, but it does inform my potential desire to board in Naturalize in Game 3 if I see more stuff. I really don't think I saw enough to have any reason to make any changes, so I'm just going to submit. Well, let's review quickly. If anything that's just bad against white. Typhoid Rats isn't exciting, but I like how it's positioned in my deck. Ditto Wandering Tomb Shell. Yeah, alright, whatever. I'm in. It's a functional hand. So I'm going to keep it. I'll lead with Beastbreaker, and if I haven't drawn a land eventually, I'll play this thing and search for a land. My opponent sideboarded pretty quickly, so I assume that the deck didn't change, so I assume I'm against black-white. Alright, cool. Third land. I am fine with this guy getting hit by a Vile Dragonfire or trading with the Typhoid Rats. Again, fine with whatever happens. Play this face down, and I'm not going to worry super hard about protecting it. I'm fine trading it for any of my opponent's cards. Great. That was good. It's tempting to play Guide to find a land. So I really want to hit 5 next turn. I'm actually going to do that because then I can just exploit the Guide. Feels really weird to search for land when I have 4, but land is by far my best draw here. Don't know what to make of all this untapped mana. Worried that it means Reach of Shadows, and if my opponent understands the rules, can kill my guy in response to exploit and stop me from getting the ability. You know, attack with the Beastbreaker to try to get my opponent to use mana to know if that's going to happen or not. Yeah, I'm fine just trading. I'm going to play the Gravecaller, I guess, because if I exploit this thing, then I won't have anything to exploit with the Gravecaller if stuff just works normally. I can afford to take one more hit from this thing. Yeah, I get to sacrifice a creature. White-black isn't known for its reach, so this should be okay. And let's just attack and see where we're at. I like this. Guessing this is going to be kill one of my guys, try to bolster, and in response I'll Grim Contest. Channel Harm. So if I Grim Contest, then I'm only dealing 5 damage and my guy lives. That's sweet. You could play this face down, but it's unlikely that I'd ever get to... What the... Oh, because it took damage from fighting. I'm stupid. I probably should have just fought with my zombie. And then my guy would be alive. Then I'd have a 3/6 instead of a 2/2. Yeah, that was really dumb. Oh well. Not having that 3/6 means I definitely want to play this face up because I want to have a big guy. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Attacking here is a massive free roll on every level. My opponent blocks is outstanding for me. Okay, so Spruwood does not actually match up well against Archfiend. Just play the bigger guy. I guess it matches up reasonably well. You get to keep another guy. Since this goes on this deck, then this goes on this deck, and then I make a guy after I lose a guy. So I'm dead. That's the full story. I'm just dead. So switching into the other deck does not help my situation against Archfiend of Depravity. My ways to get it off the board are in my deck as configured. There's very little I can do to get more of that. Since collateral damage doesn't do it, and even Silumgar's command, if I wanted to try to splash blue, doesn't do it. Valve Dragonfire doesn't do it, obviously. So I think I'm just gonna run it back with the same deck and know to save my removal and not throw away my Grave Callers for no reason. Wondering about this thing, but it's probably fine. It's actually pretty good against the 3/2 Flying Vigilance guy. I am going to go first, I think, because of the flyers. Cannot keep this. We'll keep this. Need to draw green. Great. Now I would like to draw a creature that I can play for 3 or 4 mana, but might not be necessary. My opponent's deck's not super fast, and this hand plays reasonably well in the late game, and we're already getting pretty close. Alright, cool. This thing is the first thing in play. Kinda hope it lives, since these things need me to have a creature in play, but the opponent hasn't really shown a ton of removal. Let's fight. I'd love to cash in this Butcher's Glee for a 5-drop and 6 life. No blocks. Okay. Don't really want to sack anything. It's a little tempting to attack. If my opponent blocks with this, do nothing. I guess double block forces me to act, and I don't really want to be acting into 3 mana. I'll just play Butcher, no exploit, and turn on my Formidable. So I can force this thing to block. I'd rather just play Sabertooth. Let me attack. All right. What happens if I send Sabertooth? Probably nothing bad. Sweet. I can play my Beastbreaker, or I can leave up Sabertooth mana. I think it's better to just play it safe at this point. I'm in no hurry to get a random 2/2 into play. Yeah, you can have 3 life. That's a nice little engine. So if I attack with anything, commits me to spending more mana than I want to spend. I'm just going to play this guy. I don't even love playing this guy, but I'm going to do it. Cash in the Beastbreaker for some zombies, and then I can start making more zombies. At some point I might want to just Reach of Shadows this... No, I don't want to just Reach of Shadows the Great Horn. I'll just use my mana to build more zombies until my opponent does something that matters, because I don't really want to... And I can also just, once I have enough zombies, I can start rebuying Butcher to kill my opponent's guys. Yeah, that's fine. Is there any reason to attack or not to attack? I see no reason not to attack with these. If my opponent blocks here and here, that's the worst case for me. Yeah, it forces me to preemptively use mana, and then I might have to use mana again. Well, that doesn't really matter. Problem is there's no upside if my opponent blocks correctly, so I'll just give my opponent a little credit and not do it. 7 mana make it 2/2 is not the most impressive ability, but my opponent's just doing so little that I think I can afford to be spending my time this way. But maybe I'm supposed to be converting this into kill my opponent's guys instead. These 2/2s don't really matter very much. Let's see. Gonna want to kill a lot of these things eventually, but I'm actually just gonna start with the spirit. I know that the damage it's doing isn't relevant, but if I'm just gonna spend my next several turns killing my opponent's guys, I might as well start with the one that's making some kind of forward progress. This is just saving me the trouble of spending mana to make that trade. Just gonna sack a zombie to kill that thing anyway. Oh, well, that's horrible. Next turn, I was gonna play this guy and not use my Sabertooth so that I could hold it up to have mana on my opponent's turn. Oh well. Okay, good. Reasonable chance I'm running into a removal spell of some sort here, but that's fine. Yep. Whatever. A lot of good draws in my deck. I have Temur Sabertooth, Whisperwood Elemental, Corpse Weft. Those would be the best ones, I think. Plus, as long as my opponent keeps not drawing anything, I don't really need to draw anything. Yes, either of my red morphs. Really, any of my red cards would be good draws. That's what I figured that was now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I could flip this, fight, regenerate, but I actually need one more mana. Alright, I'll just... think this is worth doing, since I have an extra Grim Contest and no other good fighters. I'm obligated to do this. It's not great. Now my opponent can kill my morph with the vial. That's, I mean, whatever, I'm down a 2/2 regenerator, but this whole sequence was not the best. Maybe I should have just not attacked, anticipating this, or just led with Grim Contest, but leading with Grim Contest is really bad if the morph is something unexpected. Is he just not killing my morph? Wow. That was great. This card seems virtually unbeatable from this spot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures in my graveyard. And my opponent threw his vial away by not doing this earlier. Let's see. I guess I'd just get rid of 5 creatures and make my opponent have something or die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, chump block with Archfiend. That's the same thing as dying in this spot. Alright, respectable. Insufficient to win, but it's a play. So I could make a 6/6, no, a 4/4, and it would make me sack a creature. Not gonna bother. Okay. Alright. Opponent's creating a reasonable clock. This isn't likely to matter later, and again, it forces my opponent to have something with 1 card in hand, so let's make a 4/4 so that I can be threatening lethal rather than not. Alright, that's the match.